If you mention that you have any sort of relations with Binance, people judge you differently.
Everything was chaotic, like literally no plan.
If you tell anything about altcoins there, you're gonna be just shit-faced. They're gonna just say, oh no, you stupid, retarded, go out, I don't like you.
I actually used to work with the Cristiano Ronaldo team, the Alpine team, Formula 1.
Tell us a couple of stories how you work with CZ.
You heard it here first, guys.
Hey Ivan, what's up?
So finally, we got in here. What's up, Kolo friends? I'm Dimitri, your beloved CBDO, and here is another episode of our Kolo podcast. And today, I have my friend and my colleague as a guest, Ivan Paskar.
That's right.
Ex-Binance marketing lead and just an amazing guy who is deep in this crypto market. I just want to say it like that.
I saw some.
How is it going, Ivan? How do you feel today?
Good. Actually, I have to say that since I probably stopped staring and watching at charts, it's been better.
Oh, yeah, I feel you, man. But recently, though, it's extremely complicated not to stare at the chats, right?
Yeah, I think that for the past 3 months since I left Binance, I definitely stopped watching at charts, and I noticed that the number of time Binance application is open on my iPhone is also way much lower. So I feel like whoever asked me how do you feel it, what is it, how is it going, the life outside of Binance? I was like, okay, it's definitely less stress, but way much more responsibility. Whenever
so you say that besides Binance, there are more responsibilities than it was when you were at Binance?
I think so.
Wow. That sounds, controversial, but extremely interesting. What do you think?
I guess I was a lucky guy, to be honest, because I had so much recognition and trust from the management, from the C-level, the best minds in this industry, that I had a perception that at some point I was running my own company, but just regionally, because I was overseeing 30 markets across the Binance, and everyone gave me the full speed green light, do whatever you feel is right for this market. And because of that, I didn't feel that stress.
That's
yeah,
nice.
Yeah, it was really a pleasant journey, and I saw this market from the top. Literally, Binance is the top these days.
This is it is
this
the
is
truth,
undeniable
fortunate or
fact,
unfortunate.
right?
Yeah.
Fortunately or unfortunately, that's the case. And when you have this possibility, a lucky position, then obviously it kind of feels chill, because you don't need an introduction. What are you working on? Whoever you bring the conversation with is well, yeah, I'm working for Binance. Okay,
yeah, we both know it.
And then they are kind of organically start sharing with you their successful cases, or unfortunately unsuccessful as well.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I actually mentioned that currently on this market, if you mention that you have any sort of relations with Binance, people judge you differently.
Right.
At the beginning, you're who you are? Yeah, I'm Dimitri. Who you are? I'm Dimitri from Binance. Oh my God, hello, brother. How are you doing? Can we talk? Can I present you my business idea? Can we share some context and so on and so forth?
I have a project, probably you can list it.
Yo, do you know anyone from Binance? My wallet got locked. Can you please unlock it, man? And it's just constant thing. And I can just imagine how it looks for you while, taking such high position in the corporation and right now, doing your own thing. So let's maybe start with kind of background journey of how you actually joined this company and how your crypto journey begun. But at the beginning, guys, I need to mention that watch this podcast till the end, because Ivan have prepared some gifts for you, and we will only show it at the end, right?
Right.
You want to give a little spoiler for the guys? What is going to be?
I think we have some both Altius, where I work right now, presents, and also the Binance Secret Box.
Okay.
I got some stuff in the wardrobe which just is patiently waiting for the winners. As you can imagine, for more than 5 years, I got some swag at home, and
Guys,
my wife actually is pissed off seeing Binance swag. Whenever we get some New Year presents, birthday, anniversary presents, just regularly new collection and drop, she's like, okay, again, is this a kind of joke? Because I used to wear Binance as a pajama, as the official suit, as I don't know, whatever. We even had jerseys for gym and sports. So at some point, I'm willing to give it away.
Yeah. So your wife will not kick you out of the house.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So watch till the end because we have some gifts prepared for you. And right now, let's come back to our conversation. So your crypto journey started years ago. And let's maybe start with my common question. What was this thing that actually made you say, all right, let me take a look at this crypto thing because, you know, it feels like something interesting. So which year was that? And what was this, you know, breaking point that actually led you to start your crypto career?
Would it make you upset if I'm going to tell you honestly that there was no fancy story? Because eventually I used to face the situation where, so kind of let's make a round trip.
Mm-hmm.
Prior to crypto, I used to be the applied linguist. So I decided that, okay, I really do not know what I'm going to do in this life. And I think that's quite normal. I graduated the school in 2012 and I was like, okay, I really have zero understanding what I'm going to do, but I'm really not good at math.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not that creative, at least at that point. So maybe the right decision would be like to just learn a bit more foreign languages, and then it depends what I'm gonna choose on top of that. Arabic culture was on the top of these days, and I remember that I even like literally was watching videos on YouTube. Like imagine like the quality of videos on YouTube
2012, right?
Arab music with my grandma.
Okay.
And we are like, wow, this looks fancy. Like these guys are rich. And so probably I should somehow connect myself with that culture, and maybe I'm going to be a lucky guy boiling the oil and grabbing lots of money. Eventually I made a mistake maybe, but just partially because, I really like graduated and I learned Arabic, Hebrew. I used to know like Romanian because I was born outside of Ukraine. And then now I know a bit Polish, just like you, I think. Yeah, we are forced to. And apparently, like I was, okay, I've graduated the bachelor's degree, master's degree, probably just because I had to, like, because my parents were like so much obsessed that, like, you know, in Eastern Europe, if you don't graduate master's degree, then you're on the next level.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't graduate, your parents are just gonna be like, all right, you gotta be just a piece of trash and nothing else, right?
There are pros and cons because whenever you mention these facts to your like US friends, they're like, wow, so much respect, bro. Because I know, first of all,
and you don't even have your student loan, man? What?
How come?
Yeah, this is how it works.
Yeah, it could be that way. So, and then a friend of mine told me, okay, like, we have a bunch of investors from Arab countries, apparently UAE, who are obsessed with AI in 2016.
In
like,
2016?
Yeah, like really smart ball guys. And they were building the application, which could be used as a SaaS solution and integrated into any application. Could be like the messenger like WhatsApp, Viber, Telegram. Could be the dating applications like Tinder, Badoo. So the idea behind it was that I'm going to write you in Arabic. It will instantly translate it in English, German, whatever language. And basically it's going to cover more than like 50 languages. So that's what I was doing on a daily basis. And I was pretty good at that. And I was happy until one moment. I realized that these guys are not willing to raise my salary. And I used to earn like less than 1K per month. Then eventually they stopped paying salaries for like 4 months. Apparently the investors decided like, okay, this is not profitable. We're not going to sell this business. Google is way ahead of us. And that was the moment I realized, okay, that's the shift, the really big shift in paradigm. And I need to do something with that unless everyone else realizes this. Because it's obvious that there are millions of translators across the world who are in the same position. And I realized, okay, like AI is going to change the world at that day. And I obviously did not had any desire to go into university from scratch and go through all this journey. So I was desperately looking for the industry, which is really, really, really new at that moment. And crypto seemed to be like, had that vibe.
Which year was that?
2016.
2016.
Late 2016. Yeah. It was
post,
even like
post ICO era already. Ethereum
pre ICO.
Pre-ICO.
Yeah, because I bought my first ETH under $10.
All right.
I could buy around like 3-5, but I was scared because all I had is like $400 under the pillow. And my girlfriend at that time, now she's my wife, she told me like, no, like we should go all in, all in. I was like, oh my God, that's a crazy decision. Like, I barely have a few bucks under the pillow and they're not paying me salary. So I had to find a job over the weekend. Because like that's how it looked like, really. And I believe that the power of crypto community is all about like people were forced to change something in their life. And because of that, it's very easy to find a common ground with everyone. And we are who we are. And that's how it turned away. I found a marketing agency called Amazix. Because it was amazing company with 6 founders who used to be the first community moderators of Bancor. Maybe you remember, maybe our viewers even don't know what is Bancor. What is that? But
I don't know either.
Yeah, like
I'm not gonna lie.
Bancor eventually is the first Uniswap. Like,
all right.
Like that's the very, very first DEX. And at that time, like 2017, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, they used to raise more than 250 millions during the ICO. Like even today, that's a lot of money.
I mean, like nowadays, 250 million is,
and as you can imagine, they raised in Ethereum, so it multiplied.
Yeah, I mean,
so these guys are still alive and doing pretty well. Wow. So and they realized that okay, there is an opportunity and niche that's everyone wants to launch their company project. They have zero idea how to do the customer support, proper social media management, PR, whatever. Like at that time, it was a standard to spend hours on Bitcoin Talk forum. If you guys don't know what is Bitcoin Talk, just like make this video on pause and go and literally like Google what is Bitcoin Talk. You're gonna be surprised. Like they still have traction and over 1 million monthly unique visitors on the website, which is crazy.
I mean, every time when I talk to OGs, Bitcoin forum is being mentioned, like every time.
Reddit as well. Now it's not a standard anymore, but Quora, Quora. I don't know if anyone like knows Quora these days.
Yeah, but what has happened to crypto media right now? Everything is on X.
Today, no, everyone is on Kite, on cookie-free the dashboards. Yeah, the market is changing. So, but I truly believe that the best marketing is actually what has been forgotten for many years. So eventually we'll be coming back to the moments of like early 20s, even 90s, and because nostalgia is what driving us over and over. And the only thing is changing. I think the new generation now is driving crypto. So now myself, I'm close to 30s, and I see like people who are just literally over 20s, they are smashing it. Like it's crazy. Like they have so many followers, they have so many success stories, and they are not afraid to make mistakes. I used to be really scared to make mistakes because my parents told me like, well, you gotta be careful because if you make a mistake, then you'll have to start from scratch. And eventually now everyone is so much obsessed with psychology, so they kind of on the next level. So more or less, I don't even remember where we stopped, but
coming back to the roots.
That's the early days, you know. Like I can speak forever about these days.
I mean, yeah, you can write a book about that. But yeah, I actually feel the same. That right now, like there is a big difference between generations, especially in Eastern generations, because like looking at the Western part, people there were always kind of open-minded and were not afraid of making mistakes. But when we look at our, let's say, CIS region and, you know, where we both are from and, you know, how it actually looks there, that generation that is a little bit older, like my generation, like your generation, we're still kind of afraid of making mistakes because we've been always taught that, you know, you shouldn't do the mistake. Like even in school, if you make a little scratch or something, you get less 1 point, and so on and so forth. So we were not allowed to make any mistakes since the beginning. That's why we always, you know, trying to find the perfect way where you're never gonna make any mistakes, and that's why we're so scared. But when we look at 18 years old right now, like as we've been talking before about that, like this 18 years old who just, they are not scared of anything. they just ruthless. They
Don't
just
treat us wrong. Like, we are not jealous. We just are trying to learn from them.
Yeah, exactly. This is what we need to learn from this younger generation.
And you need to hire people. Oh, sorry, I was so emotional. We need to hire people like them, because otherwise there is no progress, and you're just stuck in your reality. And that's what happens with many big companies, right? Like Nokia.
Yeah.
Everyone is comparing Ethereum now to Nokia.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe because they should just hire a bit more boomers, and they will code with AI and make some progress, whatever. Maybe they should hire whoever, or maybe we can help them. Yeah, let's see.
But yeah, let's come back to the topic. So how your crypto journey started. I remember, like, after working with this marketing agency, I found in some of your social media that you were trying to apply to CoinList, but actually didn't make it there. So what was the thing back then? Like, how your interaction with CoinList started and how it then led you to be a part of Binance?
Well, yeah, this is not really a public information. Maybe I'm first time mentioning about this. You can imagine CoinList 2019 used to be a very, very big company. Maybe definitely, and still up until today, tier 1 ICO platform. That would be a really fun if our project would be listed on CoinList eventually. I had a desire to apply, and I always had a dream like to work with US-centric companies to get that vibe. That's funny because like eventually appeared in more like Asian-style company. Yeah. So CoinList unfortunately said no and declined my application, even though we had 3 successfully passed interviews. And the reason why this happened is like they maybe were not bold enough to say this in person, and they just wrote it over email, but they said that they are eager to hire only European citizens or US citizens. I was like, okay, makes sense. Like, I'm from the tier 3 country, so I'm going to just work harder, you know?
Yeah. Exactly.
And you will regret. Yeah.
And you will regret. Man, I totally understand you because I had exactly similar situation at the beginning of my career. When
Really?
I was applying to Ernst & Young also for some, entry level position. Right. And I got through 3 interviews and got rejected at the end because they said
you're
that
not Swiss.
you are not European. And they were like, all right, so you have this, passport that we do not accept here. So that's why we're going to choose somebody from Europe.
Hold my beer, guys.
Yeah. And I was like, all right. That was flip the switch and watch me right now. And so this is extremely cool story. I love how at the beginning of your career you get smashed in the dirt with your face, and so then you're like, all right, watch me now.
Yeah, it sparked my desire actually to be a bit more like hard worker. And then I realized that I'm so grateful to what happened with CoinList because of that I had an opportunity to apply as an intern, because at that time I was not an intern. I had way much more experience, but I had to downgrade myself significantly in terms of the like salary, in terms of the scope of work I can do. And I did apply to Binance because at that Web3 marketing agency, I used to work more than 1 year night shifts, and it was devastating. Like I really, it influenced a lot my personal life, my conditions, and ability basically to properly think and be creative and serve the clients. I was very much depressed because of that. But I did this for a reason. I didn't want to leave this industry because at that time it was completely impossible to find a company which was hiring. Because imagine like if we are pointing the chart, if we can draw a chart here, like Bitcoin goes and smashes from 1K to 20K, and then from 20K to 3K and stays there like for half a year. No one's gonna hire anyone. Like, like let's just survive and that's it. So I was trying to survive at that time. I remember like I moved into new apartments in Kiev where I used to live at that time, and I was like, wow, this is really a nice apartment. Finally, like. We are separating and we have an opportunity to live a bit more luxury life, let's say, because it was close to the city center, pre-COVID period, stunning view out of the balcony on the 20th floor. I was like holding my glass of wine. I was like, I know that I am supposed to buy Bitcoin now, but I don't have any money to deploy. like I really knew that was the best opportunity. So I was looking for like some extra job to do whatever, so that I can still accumulate. And I told myself, okay, like let's make this game long-term oriented, and it's gonna be all right. But it was a challenge, and that's how I found. Not really. I didn't find Binance. I think like my wife found that. Open
so
position.
it's second time where your wife tells you,
Yeah.
very, very great strategic decision.
Yeah, you guys better like listen to your wife. She's
Whoa.
yeah, really like that's what I try to do these days. Although I'm not perfect, sometimes we debate. Apparently, I realized later on that I made a mistake, but as they say, happy life, happy wife,
Happy life. Yeah, that's right.
that's right. Yeah. So she found it, and she sent me the link, and I just replied like, okay, whatever, like let's do this. And they responded. I was like, whoa, like is this a glitch? Like is scammers pretending? Yeah. I had to pass 4 interviews, but they were in a rush, to be honest. Like they were realizing that the Eastern Europe, the CS region in general, is just a hidden gem, full of opportunities.
And they were right.
Yeah, they were right apparently, because the level of financial literacy was always small, I think, like low. So I told you that they were really in a rush, like to hire someone on this market, because that time my ex-colleague and my ex-manager Glab, who is now running the company called Bloom as the CEO, he was the only one taking care of like
entire CIS
in Eastern Europe.
All right.
And I was like, okay, technically this is not scalable, so we need someone. And I figured out that they had around like 150 applications, and eventually they look at all of these and like, okay, we have 2 guys. One of them was me, and another one was another guy, whatever, I don't know, like. But they said, okay, we need to hire him for a few reasons, because he has a slightly different background. He knows a bit more about Western markets, because most of the time in Web3 marketing agency, I took care of clients either from Asia or from US.
All right.
There was no...
I mean,
no one in the
crypto
middle.
back then was only in Asia and in the US, right?
And you wouldn't likely trust anyone like in between. Most of them were just like nerds and developers. And I was the only one who was out from Ukraine, and which was obviously the big market according to their data at that time. So that's how it turned out. And we've made already kind of like a small 100-day plan, just like Trump maybe did for himself these days. Like, I'm gonna smash the world within 100 days.
Let's go, baby!
I'm gonna do this, yeah. So one of the things I remember, like, we were always proud of, because just instantly we set it up connections with the Ministry of Digital Transformation in the country. And signed the memorandum. Like,
maybe you can tell, like, what was the roadmap for you when you joined Binance? So you got accepted, and you're like, all right, now I'm working for Binance, and I need to leverage, and I need to actually, do something for them. So I need to make my plan. So was it something that you sat down, wrote down the script, what you're gonna do in next, 150 days, and then just went one by one, or was it still the thing that you were like, all right, I see the opportunity, I use the opportunity, then I see another opportunity, I use that one?
I feel like no one had a very much structured KPI OKR at that day. Everything was chaotic, like literally no plan. Just let's just stand out and grab as much users and attention as possible. So anything would work at that time. So because we didn't want to go even like too much into cringe, we wanted to position ourselves as like legit guys and not do any crazy out-of-home campaigns, although we did later on, just because you need to combine and balance all that like serious level in the suits and at the same time the cringe, just like with the kids. And we've signed the memorandum with digital transformations. Now I realize that maybe it was also kind of small coincidence, because the minister of that newly established digital transformation was assigned the same day when I joined Binance. So
Okay.
like,
That's,
that's the
coincidental, but not really, right?
not really, right? So we just found each other, and they apparently had that like 100 days plan as well. Like we need to showcase like what the fuck are we like digitalizing, right? Today, and crypto was obviously on hype. Although that was the bear market. So I survived the bear market, the bull, the bear, now the bull, and now I don't know where we are. Like, tell me, what is this market?
Next question, please.
They call it kangaroo market.
Yeah,
Like,
it is actually. It's like blah, 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 blue, blue, blue type of market.
Exactly. Yeah. So that was fun, but that's the early day, right? So it is what it is.
All right. And since you started to get engaged with Binance, like, imagine that, I'm like this salesman in the grocery store you go at, and you have to explain to me what exactly you were doing at Binance. So, like, in very simple words, explain to me what was your role and what actual things you were doing, and maybe some of, great achievements that you made that actually make you say that I made Binance succeed in Ukraine.
I was trying to convince myself whether I should explain to my grandma and grandpa what I'm doing, and maybe the easiest way would be to still tell them that I do translation and I'm an applied linguist, although I've been in crypto already for almost 3 years. Like, to give you a context, you could literally go through the city center wearing Binance hoodie and no one would stop you. And no one would ask you, like, where did you get it from, and so on. Like, these days, I think that people are way much more united because of some mission, ideology. It's just a cult, right? That would be the definition. Like, I've made everything possible, especially for people in my country where I'm from, to earn some money and increase the financial literacy. That was my motto when I joined Binance. And that was like kind of the reason I signed to myself and said, okay, I want to do something helpful for everyone, not just what will benefit my career, but I want to go all over the country and maybe even outside of it and improve this financial literacy, partner with universities, bring the charity campaigns, whatever I can do, like just be the minister of propaganda crypto in my country. And that's how it started, I think. Like, and then eventually the C-level team, they saw like, okay, it's doing pretty well. The results are fascinating. We were, at the time I joined, I remember like we were top 35 according to internal data by number of active traders, registered, verified users.
Top 35 in the entire world.
Entire world.
Okay.
And then when I left Binance, like my final achievement was like my market was top 7. Top 7. Right. So I think I squeezed as much as possible.
Yeah, that's right.
And that's like the definition of how my 5.5 years went there. And because of that, they gave more opportunities and responsibilities at the same time you have to wear on your shoulders. So I gradually, together with our small, very lean team, took care of the Central Europe, like Czechia, Poland. Many of these markets are like a hidden gem because, like, if you think of Czechia, it might be really not that obvious how crypto is connected with this country, but the biggest number of pro-Bitcoin maxi guys lives there.
Really?
Yeah, really. Like, you better, like, the case of Web3 marketing, you should never advertise any altcoin in Czech Republic. Like, go
It's
just
only
with
Bitcoin?
right? And Trezor is the company which was established, and
In
they
Czech
had
Republic,
a
right?
headquarters in Czechia. Yeah, it's very, very smart cohort of people.
But why do you think it's exactly like that for Czech Republic? So does it come from people just love drinking beer there and talk about crypto?
Guys, if
or is it
anyone
something
from
else?
Czech Republic is watching us, just help us to understand.
Yeah,
and
write down in
leave
the
your
comments.
I wish I could figure out as well.
Why do you guys believe in BTC so much? Yeah, tell us.
Eventually, they were right.
Yeah, I mean, like, I remember back in the days, like, when I was, facing my first bear cycle, and I was actually, like, seeing those Bitcoin maximalist guys, who were always, like, throwing a conference where they only talk about Bitcoin.
Shilling their backs.
Yeah, and if you tell anything about altcoins there, you're going to be just shit-faced. They're going to just say, oh, no, you stupid, retarded, go out, I don't like you, blah, blah, blah. And you know, I remember everyone was laughing from this BTC guys. It's just like, all right, what's wrong with them? You see how many altcoins, you know, the market is pumping, everything gonna work out. What we see right now, they all were right, actually.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, this is actually...
It's how you learn and you gain muscles in crypto, because every market is so much versatile. And I keep saying these up until today that mindshare you see in English crypto Twitter is just the top of the iceberg.
Yeah.
Everyone is so much obsessed on like mindshare, Kaito, cookie-free leaderboards that it's just a bullshit. It's just a noise which does not help you in any way. You should look into some regional specifics. That's what we discovered with Czech Republic. The same, I had a pleasure and opportunity to discover what was going on in Brazil, in Korea, because Binance was always global from the day one. And it was all about community, increasing the number of languages supported, hosting meetups, events. And we were luckily sharing all these experience of successful cases and what works and so on. That was a very, very fun ride. But I think that approximately maybe like middle of 2024, I realized that I was running a machine, but I was not building a machine. And that's when I said to myself, okay, like maybe let's step up and elevate what I can do for this industry, what I can do to make me even more excited. And I realized that I should look out for new opportunities. I should watch out like what kind of challenges we have in these market conditions. And trust me, the temptation to join any random company was really high. Like all these meme coin money, NFT money, it was crazy. I did try to elevate myself away from all these. And I was just patiently looking out for the best opportunities. And the reputation for me is very much important. And I don't want to like play the games. I want to be serious because you don't want to leave your comfort zone for a house which is not somehow like supported by real arguments. Why do you do this? I have a family. I have my like some personal observations, what I want to do. And I was even considered like, okay, whether I should actually leave crypto. Is this the moment? Like it was kind of depressing because...
How many times did you have this thought?
Maybe like every moment the media was smashing and like trying to very be loud and aggressive that Bitcoin is dead. I was like, okay, is this really the moment I should step away or no? But what helped me to stay and lock in myself in this industry is actually my personal belief and like what type of person I am, to describe in very short and nutshell. So I do not leave the ship when it's tanking. And Binance faced a very, very challenging days and months and even years since 2022 because of all these US resolution case and all that trouble. I think we don't need to speak about it. Everyone was just observing these from the media. And I couldn't just leave company at that moment when everything was falling apart. So I said to myself, okay, like whatever, that's a perfect opportunity to gain a bit of experience in really, really rare case when I don't think I hopefully will not see any similar cases in the nearest future in crypto. We had enough FTX, Luna, whatever, Bybit, like when Bybit was hacked in the beginning of 2025, I was like, no, please. Like, no. I was like, please, no.
But actually, remark for Bybit, big respect.
Yeah,
guys
big
just
respect.
nailed it. Like, I thought at this moment that, all right, another FTX, another crash of a market. We're in a deep, deep S right now.
Yeah.
But they fix it in just matter of half of a day.
It's likely they also had someone from Binance who experienced that inside of their team, so they knew like what to do. Like,
Bybit never steals from Binance. No.
Yeah, so that's the case, and I don't know where we are going, but it looks exciting, and that's what I keep reminding myself always. Like, there is no clear end for this story. It's constantly evolving. It
But
keeps me
this is how
motivated.
this market is.
Yeah.
Like, when I was joining this market, I also thought that, all right, like, we're going to fix it all right now and then it's going to be good. No. And as soon as it gets well, as soon as you think that, all right, I can chill a little bit,
Right.
maybe I should take a vacation, like lift my bags, don't watch the chart, just go and do something that I like, boom, another shit happens. And, it's
And you
cycle by
catch up.
cycle like that. Yeah, but this is the charm of this market. This is why we love it. This is why we play this crypto game. And yeah, and as you said, like, when the failure comes really close to you, this is the moment where you gain the most of the experience. It's how in the gym. The muscle only grow when you work till failure, when you feel like you cannot lift it anymore.
Yeah.
And the same is in your career. Like at the moment where you feel really stressed, where you actually feel like everything gonna break down and it's not gonna work out, then it's the moment when you become the professional. And this is like the really cool part of your background story, that you didn't leave the ship when it was sinking and actually took the bucket and started to throw the water away
It
from
was
the
fun
ship.
because everyone was so much united. Obviously, there were many people who were fired, unfortunately. Lots of people who did not manage to go through this level of stress. Despite that, I have to admit, and kudos to Binance, they were always maintaining that like female-male balance. I think it was kind of neutral, 50 to 50. And I was like fascinated if this lady can cope with this level of stress and she has kids, family, and whatever, like, am I really that weak that I cannot do this? Like, let's do it together. And yeah, that was the team. And I believe that another reason was because I always had an opportunity to learn from the best minds in the industry. Although there were people who stayed for many years as well, there were always people cycle over the cycle who either had an experience with the smaller companies or came from the Web 2. And I never had a chance to work with anyone from Web 2, technically. So I was always curious, like, okay, someone from Cartier or like luxury brands join us, especially post-COVID period. That was normal. Like they realize, okay, we are in trap. We need to figure out a new way where we're gonna spend our next decade at work. And like some of these tricks and marketing aspects, the branding position, you learn from them. And Binance was growing, so more partnerships were signed, and I was excited and motivated to. I actually used to work with Cristiano Ronaldo team, the Alpine team, Formula One. Like my boss, my team gave me that opportunity because they saw that I was excited and I could dedicate myself to these tasks and assign full day. So I was excited, and apparently at some point I realized, okay, shall I again, like last year, not completely stop with crypto, but slightly change the direction and help Web 2 companies with these type of innovations. So I was considering maybe doing like working in a football club and doing these type of innovations for them, because obviously the trend is obvious. By, let's say, Premier League, English Premier League, they've banned already all the betting sponsors as the main title sponsors on the jersey by end of the 2026 season. So starting from 2027, who's going to sponsor all of this?
Yeah.
You heard it here first, guys.
Yeah.
Like, keep this in mind, and that's going to be obvious. I don't think that Oriflame or Avon are going to do this.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Someone-
This is what is already happening. I don't know if you saw a recent case with Matt Chain partnering up with PSG. Like, and it's already the common
normal.
thing. I see more and more crypto companies just being like, all right, we have this Web2 influencers. We have, people who everyone knows. Why shouldn't we hire them and work with them together? Because, we all talk about adoption here. We all talk about, people from Web2 knowing more about Web3 and actually joining our market. And this is what everyone is trying to do right now. And Binance actually is doing extremely great with that because, like, with Binance is the thing that even the people who don't know anything about crypto, they still know about Binance. You know, when I'm wearing Binance hat somewhere around, you know, having Binance logo on my T-shirt or something, people are like, oh, I know this. It's like something crypto Binance, right? I'm like, yeah. And you know, and they don't even know the topic, but they already remember the brand. And this is like what was my next question. How do you think Binance made such strong brand, and what was your involvement in that? So everything about branding and how to make this thing click in people's mind that, all right, this logo, weird yellow logo, this is something that leads me to crypto topic immediately.
Literally month over month, we are running with some like really applied campaigns, and these were relevant no matter what the time is. So let's say if the time is challenging and it's COVID, then Binance was the only company supporting people, out of the crypto world, advocating and supporting with the charity campaigns. If it was the bull market, that Binance was the company which was advocating for sponsorships of music festivals. We wanted to have fun, and we definitely were on the same page with our users because we were using our product as well. Although we had some restrictions, we couldn't trade. If I bought Bitcoin, even I couldn't sell it for some time. But regardless, everyone was obsessed with this industry. So it's not just like, you work for some kind of ABC bank, and but your family is actually using another bank. My family was using Binance because it was easy and quite affordable, a nice getaway. All of these campaigns, I don't know even where to start from. Like I told you that on the central marketing, I've been involved with the biggest IPs in the world campaigns. Then on the regional side, whatever we had to be present, we were quite vocal always. And one of the things I'm proud of also is like the way I think the students of today, or like the fresh graduates, think of crypto is done because we've run multiple educational campaigns. We like literally knew that this has zero ROI, but long term, that's a proper thing to do because education always pays off. And you want to treat people in a very serious way, and you want to help them and understand like what is going on here, because the way we thought about even risky products like futures, and is like, no, like we were quite frank with users, like don't trade on futures unless you're confident and you have a profitable first year on spot. Don't do this. And even though you better think about it twice because the market is changing and your skills might be not applicable anymore. I think that we were just creative always, and the level and the bar were so high across the globe that we had some internal competition. So, like I always wanted to be better than, let's say, guys from Vietnam or Turkey or Brazil. And that internal competition was very much fair, organic, and friendly. So
no toxic competition.
No toxic competition at all. Right? Like because everyone was the team. Internally, our marketing chat was always, and up until today, I think it's called hardcore. Everyone was hardcore. And we locked in ourselves, especially in the moments during the COVID, because nothing technically changed for us. Like we were always diversified, decentralized, no headquarters. When CZ said like that Binance doesn't have a headquarters, that was true because no one knew like where is the headquarters.
Yeah, where's the headquarters?
They
just
had
Binance
a bunch
everywhere.
of offices, of course, all over the world, but it was just not mandatory, like optional. If you want to go there, okay, like let's have a meeting. Might be productive, might be not. If you're bored, let's go there. If I don't know, the kid is crying at home, like at least you have a place where you can escape, go, right? Where to escape, whatever. So I don't know. Are there any campaigns you personally remember? I can give you an example. Like, remember there were days when Doge and Shiba Inu were competing a lot. And, like Shiba Inu appeared out of from nowhere. So it was my idea to list a pair Doge versus Shiba Inu.
Okay.
And we started this battle, like, and we popped up these trends, and we just were riding on this hype technically. Things like these, like there were a few ideas also which unfortunately not into the product reality today, but maybe we'll see them later on. I was as a young parent, I was always advocating for like family accounts. I envisioned Binance doing these one day, but I'm really surprised that no one, maybe someone hear us, please. Like, let's just realize there is a need and demand for
exchanges.
these.
This is a free piece of advice for you.
Free piece of advice. Whoever does these, they will grab millions of users. You need to create a gamified, customizable family account where you as a father, mother, can sit with your son or daughter, and you're gonna play the games. You will learn about this financial literacy. You will lock in and start investing and like form a portfolio for your kids. And over the year, it's gonna grow like that. What used to be historically, obviously something may change, but look at the performance of Bitcoin. You should not play and gamble your assets with any altcoins. Like just do it very simple, right?
Yeah, and do it long term.
Do it long term. And you will obviously outperform the Nasdaq, the S&P 500, the inflation, whatever. I can imagine that any exchange or any wallet who's willing to do this, they should provide a slightly better API because like you are locking funds for a long period of time. They should give some badges, opportunities, and so on. And you have a lifetime client because this client started being familiar with your product and services
since the early childhood.
Yeah, 10 years and you'll have the amazing LTV out of this user. I don't understand why this is not happening. This wouldn't board. Everyone is so much obsessed of like the billion users. Yo, guys, what do you do to get this billion?
Yeah.
You just launched a new layer 1, layer 2.
Yeah.
We
have
help?
another layer 1, layer 2. We'll launch the token. We'll launch some social fi platform, blah, 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 so on and so forth. But there is no real utility.
Simple.
There is no real catch for the actual user. Because actually, like, what you just said is extremely, extremely right. Because, like, when I was even starting my crypto journey, with the first thing that I was going through was Binance Academy. Because my mentor back then told me, like, you know, if you don't know what to do, open the Binance Academy and, you know, like go check it and go research and understand what the hell is going on in this market, right? And so for the kids, like if we, let's say, can do something like Binance Academy Kids or some stuff like that, or even, you know, like offline classes for them or whatever, since the early beginning, you are getting the knowledge about this actual product. So you become the lifetime user of this product if you don't get disappointed throughout the time. And so, yeah, this is basically the catch.
Even that Binance Academy stuff, I remember like slightly around 20%-ish of Binance users passed Binance Academy, and they were onboarded on Binance through this free educational content. I'm not gonna lie, it helped us to neglect some legislation blockers in some countries, how we advertise ourselves through Binance Academy.
Of course.
But there is nothing bad in that.
But I mean, this is a good type of marketing.
Yeah.
You don't act like, you know, you wasting people's time. You teaching them something and getting something in return. Yeah. So this is the beauty of that.
Yeah.
All right. Next question is how, like, maybe you can tell us a couple of stories how you work with CZ or with E, and, you know, how it is to be that high level in Binance, and, you know, maybe the craziest, you know, decisions that you had to make, or, you know, craziest thing that you've heard about, you know, some decision making process and how the company was shifted or moved somewhere. So just tell us some background stories, how it is to work with CZ and what was crazy about it.
Hey, it was a pleasure. Honestly, I don't know anyone who would say any bad words about them as founders, as leaders. Sorry, but I'm not gonna make any spoiler alerts which gonna upset everyone or surprise anyone. Eventually, I think CZ is gonna release his book soon. So I highly recommend everyone to read it, because I'm sure there will be lots of moments and memories mentioned in this book. I've been giving like short interview to the writer of this book, because he was collecting all these pieces and stories and feedback from everyone from the early days, and there were not that many number of people around Binance at that time who were with him from day one.
Mm-hmm.
I joined Binance in 2019, so technically they were already a well-established firm at that time, number one within less than 1 year on the market by number of users, and that's how you run the best marketing. Like hot take, but maybe not that popular, is the best marketing for a product, for exchanging crypto, for whatever, is just like a green candle.
Mm-hmm.
Binance was printing green candles on the listings
on a daily basis.
daily basis, right? So I wish someone can figure out and do the same today. And honestly, just well, respect. So I remember I was so much surprised that CZ is actually a very tall guy. And like he was, I think, taller than me. I'm 182 centimeters. So that was the first thing I stuck in my mind. I was like, wow, okay, like that's a boss. That's a leader. And he was always critical about himself as well. So that what resonated. And he was clearly stating that if I don't know anything, then let's figure out together. It's okay to make mistakes, but it's not okay to hide them. And it was very easy to work with them. So the fun fact maybe for our listeners is that CZ is actually more popular in English community, but he is way much more famous in Asian community.
All right.
Because she used to be the like TV host. She was very creative and famous before joining crypto, or where they met each other in another exchange, OKCoin, before they founded Binance. So Binance, I'm not sure whether you know actually this, like Binance was founded by 6 co-founders, and up until today, only 2 co-founders kind of like publicly somehow still like engaged, engaged with Binance, although CZ has no relationship to .com business. I'm not gonna remember, I think, all the names. I know that some of them are still active in the market. For instance, Jin is leading the No Limit VC, which also invested in Altius, the company where I work with. So, like somehow the roads of all these OGs, they cross away and cross path. CZ was very humble always, just like Hei. So we had a team building in South Korea before the COVID 2019. And at that time, on the roof, we had a bar and everyone was invited there. I came a bit early and was just very shy and stood in the corner. And then CZ came with the beer. And he gave me a beer, Heineken. Up until today, I remember that beer because I was shocked and said like, "Hi, I'm CZ. Like, what do you do? What's your name?" And so on. So he initiated the conversation, and that was the case always with everyone. Like, and also many funny stories like how he spent business trips with the team. Like, I'm not gonna reveal this. Let's keep this like confidential. Yeah. But he is just one of us, let's say that.
All right,
that's
so
simple.
he's a crypto G, right?
Crypto G, but with a bunch of humor and obviously some obsessions to be like a real guy. Same with Hei. Her English improved dramatically. She became more public recently. And I think she's doing amazing as a leader. Back at these early days, she barely managed to speak English, and CZ always made fun jokes about it. Yeah, like now I think Binance should be proud of having that level of co-founder alive and be. I remember she always said like, I'm the customer support officer, like this, like like not like chief marketing officer, but like customer support officer of every user, because she's trying to help everyone.
So basically the engagement with the co-founders was really, really deep. And, I just want to reveal this type of stuff because, Binance looks like a very, very close thing. And most of the people don't know what is happening behind the curtains. And so, opening up this little human factors.
Everyone
is just,
can reach out to them. Yeah.
Yeah, it actually, we all are human. And this is what I love about our crypto market, that you can actually talk to whales who have billions and billions of dollars, which is impossible in any other industry. And here, just by being present in the right place on the conference or whatever, you have the possibility to talk to this high level people.
Just like by messaging them. And
Yeah,
that's it.
you
And
can even
obviously
text
they're
them on
not
Twitter or
gonna
something.
revert back to you as sub, but they will do.
Yeah.
That's okay. And no one gonna punish you for doing this. Like
Exactly.
your manager not gonna, unless you propose something which you initially had to propose to someone who you're reporting to.
Yeah, exactly.
Then it doesn't make sense to waste the time. But I remember we used to evaluate the performance of each other at company on the quarterly basis, half year basis, whatever. And HR team figure out, okay, let's maybe like do some badges, achievements, and short like feedback instead of the one cycle they did this, instead of the detailed feedback, what could be improved and where you are. And everyone could leave any feedback to anyone. And CZ was always like, begging, like, guys, like, you should leave a feedback to me because I'm the leader, but I don't know if I'm hitting in the right direction. Yeah. So everyone was laughing from the fact that I left him a feedback like high potential, like like you still have potential, like, keep going. Yeah. So and then he laughed from this. I bet.
That's it.
Yeah, that's it. Like that, they were always open minded, but today, obviously, they have to keep the distance.
Of course.
Yeah, of course. It's not a joke.
Regulations are sitting on our shoulders, and it's not allowed to be that funny guy from crypto no more, unfortunately. We all need to kind of tighten up our suits and be more, official. All right, and maybe last question about Binance before I move to the next part of our interview is about the restrictions, because we all know that you have the access to basically one of the most crucial data on the market while working there. So which sort of limitations did you have inside in order not to be allowed to manipulate the market, have some sort of insider trading, or basically just use the information that you gain from Binance for your own leverage?
Over the time, it just elevated the level of on-chain information we gather. I miss this data so much these days. As someone running a project, I wish I could knew like all these insights. So I'm trying to stay close to the data team at Binance. Maybe one day they're gonna leave and we can work together. Right. So jokes aside, one of the misconceptions, obviously, that anyone at Binance can help you to list a coin. Like it's really a misconception, guys. Let's be realist. Barely anyone knows like who works at listing team these days, and it's changing very high. So the level of stress I keep saying was high, because if you made a mistake, let's say someone took a bribe, then they would eager and absolutely be fine to fire the whole department. And just hire a new department, because it's reputation. Yeah, and exactly. You don't make jokes with your reputation, and that's right. I get it. I personally got, I think, a few like internal red flags when I made some mistakes by manipulating. That could consider like as a manipulation, but that was not intentional. What I did is like just I got an airdrop. Deposited on Binance, and I sold it the same day, and that could consider as like manipulation. According to internal data, that could seem like as the purchase of the assets, but in fact, if you prove that like you did not purchase, you got it, you claimed it, that's on-chain public data, then it's fine. But that was serious. One of the craziest story I've heard of, like someone being fired from Binance, is shit, I still don't believe like in this story. So the guy bought BNB day one, let's say it's Monday. He went on a dinner with his girlfriend on Monday evening. he paid for this dinner with the Binance card, and BNB was deducted from his account. So
Okay.
technically, he sold BNB.
Yeah.
They fired him. Like,
Wow.
yeah. So it's really strict. Like, it's not a joke, and
And so he couldn't explain himself, being like, yeah, I just used my Binance card.
it's validation. Like, sorry, but the rules are the same for everyone. Yeah.
Sorry, not sorry. How
Sorry,
they say.
not sorry. Yeah. But everyone saw the standard that the bar is high, and if you really care about your position, your future, your like, if you belong to this company, let's please follow this standard, right? And I keep hearing stories that even these days, most of the projects or even sometimes exchanges, they don't have reporting system. At Binance, you had to report weekly, monthly,
Bi-monthly.
quarterly,
Yeah.
and then on a quarterly basis, you do like the BRD, like what are you gonna do next 3 months? So many reportings that maybe like too much, to be honest. That is one thing I hated at Binance, like reporting. But now I just got used to it, and like I cannot live without it. That I even write reports for myself to keep the track of like where we are. Am I keeping with the speed we initially expected, and so on.
Basically structures up your work. You don't feel like you're lost in the ocean and just, trying to find a path where you should go.
Yeah.
It's just the thing that you always know what you're doing and you know what your colleagues are doing. And basically just, puts the big arrow direction there. We are going there. And I think a lot of crypto projects are lacking this thing because I saw many startups on my way. And basically, when you're joining the startup and you see how people are trying to structure their work and there's basically no structure, just pure random and nothing else.
And that's why we have dozens of marketing agencies just doing the structure.
Yeah, exactly.
For the past 100 days, I realized, okay, all I saw internally from Binance is like some project doing this and this. Could be technically done by some agency, not by internal people. I was like, okay, what's the point of having someone in this company? They raised a bunch of money. They are delegating this scope of work to the agency, and then they kind of like bear the fruits and claim that all the kudos to us.
Yeah, exactly.
That was the point. So yeah, unfortunately, I'm disappointed from the level of expertise in the market these days, and that is also one of the reasons why we are so skeptical in terms of who do we hire, because someone said, like, it was very important quote, maybe let's say Steve Jobs, whatever,
guys, find a new weapon, write down in the comments.
Just ChatGPT it, like that's the first 10 people you hire in the company. They will dramatically affect the next 100 people who will join you.
Yeah,
and that will basically judge what type of company you will be. So our CEO, CTO, the co-founders at Altius, they are very like critical and serious about this. And I do respect that I'm taking into account, and I take it for granted. Like, there is so much pressure. Like now, the reason like I said there is less stress but more responsibilities is because I realize this level of responsibility, that if I'm lucky to be at this stage, then okay, like let's set the bar high as well. Let's take all the knowledge we know and also work with the best people. Luckily, they are still around. There are many of them.
There are still smart people in this ADHD world.
Yeah.
All right. And as far as we already started to talk about your new company, let's move to this point where you actually had this decision that no more Binance for me. I want to go my own way. How did it happen? Like, what was the reaction of your management back then? Because you were on the already very, very high level of the company. You were basically, once again, to all the listeners, Ivan was leading marketing in the entire Europe, right?
All in Europe. So Eastern Europe, Central Europe, Balkans, CIS, and even Africa.
Yeah. So like bunch of regions and extremely important ones.
And a bunch of countries outside of like Israel, like whatever.
Wow.
Of them,
and just imagine the level of responsibility that was back then. And so like maybe you can tell us, mentally, how did you had this switch that, all right, this is the moment to go, and like how you executed it? Because I just imagine it for myself when you're already on such high level, understanding this industry, understanding sort of influence you already have on this market. and then you just tell, all right, I live it all and I go my way. I'm going to build my thing and I'm going to work with, very, very different people. So what was this moment when you realized that you need to do it and how you were executing it?
It was 2024, April, end of April, token 2049, Dubai. I saw everyone like at that moment, and everyone was so much obsessed of layer ones, layer twos, kind of projects like the boom inside of the on-chain data. And I oversaw like the potential in the on-chain vertical. So I wanted to do something extra on top of like what Binance is already proficient with. But I couldn't imagine me doing this with already established brand. Let's say I could easily join BNB Chain, Trust Wallet, the brands kind of like very close to Binance, but they already gained lots of muscles and like all the best awareness out of what they could. So I wanted to stress test myself. Is it really all about my skills, or is it just because I was lucky and that Binance always supported me and every door was easy to open because of that?
So you were questioning it was the moment where you kind of started to think that was it my success or was it Binance success? Yeah. And so you challenged yourself, and at some point of time, or you were like, all right, let's see how it goes.
And I was waiting for the perfect moment, like when all the dust settled, all the FUD disappeared, and everything went like.
So basically,
really
when the ship stopped sinking and basically come back to the floating part.
Yeah, and Binance is doing amazing.
Binance is doing amazing. Like
just kudos.
Kudos to Binance. Like,
I think
it's still tier 1 exchange, number 1 in the world, the most amount of users everyone knows about Binance.
Yeah. Luckily, hopefully
everyone else is copying
on.
Binance.
So, and I obviously saw the opportunity, and I saw that these number of layer 1s, layer 2s, we don't need them. Like, we don't have these demands, and everyone is trying to build the same stuff, and everyone is trying to build the same stuff just because they don't know that this solution could be done once and integrated, let's say, as a SaaS, as a service solution. And that's how the idea of Altius appeared as well. From Anit, the CTO based in US, and Annabelle, CEO and co-founder also based in Singapore. They knew each other for a while, and Anit used to be the very smart developer, and he is smart developer with 20 plus years background. So he started coding when I was a kid in 1999. His background is Oracle, HFT, like these are the type of companies like Binance, but in infrastructure, in Web 2. And we are speaking of like the speed is like nanoseconds, not just milliseconds. So that is the level of speed we can bring into Web3. And Annabelle obviously is very known in the industry. She doesn't need an introduction. She used to be the managing director at Amber Group, one of the biggest market maker VC, generally like big institutional player. And she ran that company from zero up until IPO. When I ask myself like whether I'm willing to change and swap this comfort zone to some kind of house, an unpredictable future, I want to do this with people with whom I could stick and lock in up until like 2 a.m. if we need this to do. And we are not tourists. We are not newbies in crypto. So we know what needs to be done. And the execution layer we build is just a first step initially, and the gap we want to fill, because this will bring the opportunity to bring that demand and serve that demand on any chain. So we can integrate, like plug and play. Think of us like an engine from the Formula One car, which could be integrated in any car and make that car high performance in that moment instantly. And that also, on top of that, brings the cost down, the state bloat, like the developer's velocity, the experience is going to be very smooth. And that will bring interesting, what I'm personally excited, but no one is speaking about this, is that this will initiate the moment when there will be no new demand for layer 1, layer 2. and that's, I think, will help us to proceed to the next stage of Web3 evolution. Is like who's gonna build the best decentralized applications on top of that? Because these days, even the best decentralized applications, think of like Athena, Hyperliquids, Uniswap, they are eager or already working or already have their own app-specific chains.
Yeah.
And it just makes sense for them to kind of aggregate that liquidity, provide the best services. They know how reliable this chain is built by them. So instead of them wasting money and time on building this, we're going to help and just provide the solution. It's just a first step. Initially, we have more ideas how we can evolve and serve the demand on the market. And this is the idea, luckily, which will be, it's not that sexy maybe as like meme coins. It's a bit complicated. You need to be a tech savvy guy. That's what triggered in my mind is like, I want to also challenge myself. Otherwise, it's going to be just boring. Like it's going to be
like, when you already, on the ship that is huge, that is basically non-stopping, yeah, through the ice, through the heat, whatever, like it just goes forward. And so at some point of time, you need to realize that, I want to, sit in this small boat and make it, float like a ship, right? Yeah. And like maybe to recap for the listeners, as you showed me in this podcast, I really love this idea that imagine that I'm your Uber driver and we are going somewhere and you need to explain to me what your protocol is in very, very simple words. So I will get the actual topic. So just to recap everything that we just talked about, like what is it all about? Like which sort of problem do you guys fix and why do you think that your solution is the best?
So today we have a problem in blockchain space that there are too many blockchains, just like cars you are driving as an Uber driver in any city all around the world. Some cars might be cheaper or more expensive. Some are faster, some are slower. And but we are not building another car. We are building the engine, which could be plug and play and like used with any car, no matter where it comes from, Korea, Germany, or US, whatever. And your car will run way much faster. It will consume less fuel, and it's gonna be just comfortable rides everyone will enjoy and everyone will benefit from. That's the stage number one, what we are doing. So it's more like a B2B solution probably, but we obviously do this for a community, for everyone in this industry. That's why we are very much focused on the community's feedback and like not just developers point of view who are building, let's say, these cars, but someone who's going to be using these cars, eventually users, and what type of features they will provide for them. That's it, I think, if it makes sense.
Yeah, it does make sense in a really, really cool way.
Yeah. Or if you are a game lover, let's say, like you play the game console, whatever, Xbox, PlayStation, like whenever you launch the game and there is no ping, right? Like it's just perfectly executed, then it's driven by some engine as well, which helps you to maintain that smooth experience. Exactly. You don't see it. That's why, like one of the idea and slogan we have is that the layer you see and use will be powered by the layer you don't. That's us. Yeah.
All right. That's a very cool slogan. Actually, it puts the idea into your mind and makes it very understandable. It's one of the
ideology, like how to explain. It's obviously could be the future-proof your chain, because most of the clients until these days are chains. However, what we can do aside from chains is like we can help RPC providers, node validators to optimize their cost, the spending and running. So guys, like if anyone here is building the chain or roll up or whatever, instead of just wasting months, just message us at Altius and we'll be helpful to find the common ground and see what we can do and how we can speed up the progress. And then your developers could focus on something what really matters for your company, for your users, because users not gonna just use your chain because it's fast. We are not solving the bigger problem, but we are solving one side of it. And then eventually I think if we'll be helpful to tackle and try and solve other issues. Yeah.
Okay, and talking about issues, what about marketing? Because, it sounds like a very tech-heavy product. And basically, like, when you don't have that big B2C factor in it, it's extremely complicated to go with a marketing side to explain to the final customer why is it cool to use your product. So for you, as for the co-founder, like, what's the vision on how to push it from the marketing side? And maybe you can just show us a little bit of your marketing plan.
Try. First of all, I'm not a co-founder, so I'm one of the earliest team member.
Okay.
I did help Altius part-time even when I wasn't part of it.
So you do not consider yourself as co-founder of
not
Altius?
A co-founder,
Not
technically
a
on
co-founder.
paper.
Okay.
Yeah, but I wish one day maybe the opportunity will come if I prove that I belong to this mission, and I'm gonna stick for a long period of time. But
so then, as an early contributor,
early
to the project.
contributor, an early team member. Our team is very lean. Like, we are less than 10 people across the globe. Most of us are based in the US, and I'm kind of like in the middle between Asia and US.
As
helping
you always were.
to cover like that time zone gap and optimize what we can. We do also have part of the non-official team, but like ambassadors helping us on a daily basis. They are also distributed across the globe. Hopefully we'll be able to hire some of the best performers. That's how I think of the best hiring, is like you just hire someone who's very close to you, knows your product, knows your issues, can provide the better solution. No need to elevate the game and just like hire someone with TradFi experience in this industry. It doesn't make sense. Marketing and Web3 should be very much focused on the product, to be honest. I love the fact that some companies, for example, kudos to Sophon guys, that their co-founder, I think, recently stated that they are product-related crypto company, not engineering, not market, because they know that users going to use product, and that will provide the experience they have, and they either gonna stick to it or not. So maybe my mindset is kind of similar a bit. Although our product is not tangible, we cannot give it away as Pepsi. We cannot even showcase it as Binance. That's the challenge, right? Like I keep challenging myself with all the analogies and analyzing the best cases. Maybe something similar depending on the. I will try to our viewers and listeners to give a context. If you've entered crypto in 2016-18, then Chainlink used to be, which is now top 20 assets and very much respectable across the world, used to be in the similar situation. Technically, users could not touch and realize what is it about. It was like a niche luxury experience for tech-savvy developers. And just users realize over the time, okay, that's interesting, a trigger, like why everyone is trying to partner with Chainlink. Something might be good with them, like I should start analyzing. These days community is way much smarter, so they notice us early, which we are super grateful, but it gives a bit of pressure and expectation on us as well. So we don't want to be too much vocal and shilling what we do unless we get some traction and really gonna be just helpful for the coverage, organic especially. The next cycle, it was maybe about Celestia. No one could also figure out like what is DA, or why there are like 10, let's say, like imagine that if the blockchain space is just like 10 floor building, why there is like a ground floor. And now we have to explain that we are like a parking zone, like -1, because like we are the fundament which helps you to power this elevator and smoothly make it up and down between the floors. Then I think, luckily we have more and more product solutions which have a real demand outside of trading just like spectrum and vertical, but we definitely are lacking, in my opinion, the new use cases. Maybe the last one was again Kaito and Cookie Free, like they brought some fresh air into the market, right? So we hope that we will bring something new as well, and let's see. It's all about the confidence. We have that confidence. We are grateful for the confidence we got from our early supporters, the VCs, like that speaks a lot, like the Founders Fund, the Pantera Capital, Archetype, the Forge.
Yeah, this is what I wanted to mention. So how many contributors you already have.
Yeah.
And I see that big names are actually trusting you guys and, you know, putting their effort. And it gives some
legitimacy, I hope, but they're just at top of the ladder. Now we need to deliver.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So maybe at some point...
It's like talking to another ex-Binance guy who started his project, like about delivering, and we all know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. We are very much obsessed on like the revenue positive model, about the like we want to show the whole community that there is a reason why everyone believed in us, and we do expect the second half of this year to be highly concentrated and full of announcements, hopefully starting from this summer with the product release and first partnership, and exploring how we can prove that we are VM agnostic and go beyond the EVM ecosystem. We are starting from EVM ecosystem because it just makes sense. Like there are more developers, more adoption and cult and trust within the EVM, and no matter what, like people will just use everything EVM compatible. It's so big that it's not just about Ethereum today. It's like Arbitrum, it's BNB chain, it's Hyper EVM, are full of good players, base and whatever. So we can serve and improve the demand there, and then let's see what's next.
Exactly.
What's next? And marketing is basically like highlighting these milestones. We don't do marketing at Altius. We do growth. And like I am the growth advocate. We are thinking how we can grow and how we can help our partners grow. That's why they integrate with us. That's why they waste their time and developer resources. It's very important for them decision. Want to make sure that's like whatever they do not regret, and that's gonna be the best marketing, right? If we'll help them, do you need a better marketing rather than just helping everyone else to succeed?
Yeah, that's true. And do you think that growth and business development is actually the same thing in this market, or you somehow separate them?
Kind of, yeah, because I call myself sometimes like BDSM guy.
yeah. I even have it on my avatar. Always. Yeah,
business development, social media. You do whatever you can, right?
I call it business development, sales, and marketing. Also the same thing. But yeah, actually, like in this crypto market, I just stopped seeing, you know, this big separation between BD, growth, marketing, and sales, because basically it's all about the same thing. You cannot be the strict business developer in this market. You cannot be a strict marketing guy. You should always have every part of all this BDSM infrastructure.
And generally across the life, like I learned that you should be like a unique soldier, like a Swiss knife guy.
Yeah, exactly.
Obviously, you cannot be the pro in whatever like house related things. I'm not good in construction, okay? I'm not gonna waste my time on fixing something at home and constructing it from scratch, but I'm okay to assemble some sofa from IKEA, although I hate it. Like we joke with my wife like that, okay, like this is not for you, like you better focus on this.
You better talk.
Yeah, you better talk, you better work.
I mean, like when people ask me what are you good at, I'm saying at everything where you have to talk.
Yeah. So obviously we are also now hiring the BD guy, lady, I don't know, it doesn't matter, but someone who would be also fine with doing some public speaking, some growth ideas. We need to be correlated, and I bring the leads to BD team. They bring me the best like ideas,
how to execute it. And what I basically found out during my career that, you know, like when you work in this BDSM zone of the project,
Yeah.
you always have to have like different mindsets with your colleagues, because when you're pushing the entire business development, sales, and marketing stuff on by yourself, sometimes you're just lacking the piece of advice from somebody who has the different vision. So that's why I don't love the separation between like here is CBDO, here is CMO, here is this or that, but you guys just always work in synergy, always pushing each other in order to get the best result. Because sometimes I just need this marketing point of view when I get stopped by my own blocks or limits, and I just have some sort of vision that is not similar to mine, that flips the switch in my mind. I mean, like, okay, now I have kind of, my tunnel vision is being broken and I see wide picture in front of my eyes. And so the same I'm trying to do when, let's say marketing is trying to go very, very strict with their vision, not trying to somehow, get the creative part, not trying to use some little bit of BD leverage in order to push the marketing side. Then I just come to them being knock, guys, we can do it different. We can record a podcast and, sit and talk with interesting people and, improve our brand with that. And so on and so forth. And that's why I think this BDSM team should always have a couple of people with different vision and work in the entire synergy together. So this is very good thing that you said, that you getting new people in the team, so you get wider spectrum of vision and basically just exchanging thoughts.
If honestly, if we would like conduct the interview now, I would just hire you, like, because you nailed it. Like, that's the basic and the basis, fundamental, and not everyone clearly understands this. Everyone is trying to hire, not everyone, sorry, apologize. Like, most of us, we are trying to hire someone who is somehow similar to us. But that's the wrong way. Like, you should hire someone who is completely better in something you are not good in. And that's how you accomplish each other. You have different type of views on the same points. Yeah, so maybe that's why also like advisors exist, right?
Yeah, because they just tell you different vision.
Yeah, and they kind of serve like as a judge, because even internally you might be debating whether this solution is the right one. So I don't, how do I say, like, neglect the existence of advisors, but just be very mindful of like whom do you take as an advisor, like how dedicated they are actually.
This is an important topic, and this is also what I wanted to say, that I love when my employees are telling me that I'm wrong. Like, when you have some sort of statement, when you think that you're extremely right, but you have different vision from your team members, and they prove you being wrong, and they are not scared of telling you that, all right, you are wrong here, we can do it differently, we can have way easier solution. And that's like how the best team members are actually taking their place.
I'm gonna tell you more. I love like when community members just come to me and say like, oh, this is done in the wrong way, but the feedback should be constructive. But if someone is coming to me and saying like, okay, like, this sucks and I can do it better, and here are like 3 reasons why, and like that's the time frame I can do this, well, I would likely be grateful to work with you part-time, full-time, whatever, to make it, to learn from you and fix it. And so that's, everyone benefits from it.
Exactly. This is actually one of the things how all the people outside of this employment market, if I can call it so, being built around crypto, people asking how to get your first job in crypto. And I think this could be our next topic. Basically, your piece of advice for the people who are coming from the outside. And I think you already gave us one, that guys, just open social media, open the platforms, open the products themselves, and try to give the constructive feedback to it. Like, when you being involved into the community, when you live in comments, when you actively talking about how this project is good and where it's bad at, you're going to be recognized. And the project themselves, as Ivan already said, they're just going to come to you and say, I'm willing to work with you. I'm willing to take a piece of your expertise.
First of all, I'm willing to go on the call, not just like because you somehow figure out my Calendly link and like you just booked it randomly without no agenda. Sorry, I'm not going to do it. Like, my time is priceless and I do take care of it. But if you bring some ideas, if you're very clear in what you can deliver with, let's do this. And let's maybe give one more piece of advice from my side on top of that. I realized for all of my past career at Binance is that cultural map, this is the book you have to read if you are working in crypto space, because there are no borders in this industry, and you may eventually work with someone from Nigeria, Argentina, I don't know, Vietnam, whatever, like even Norway, which is I haven't seen many people
It's typical
from Norway,
daily
but
thing.
yeah.
The guy from Ukraine, the guy from Nigeria, the guy from China, the guy from the US, and the guy from, I don't know.
Someone should be for sure from India and UAE.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, that's like the basis. But you need to figure out who has like really these hardworking skills, what kind of peculiarities they have on a daily basis in the culture, how do they treat you at work, what is okay for them, what is not. I think I would advise this to everyone before you hop on the interview. And honestly, in the world of automation and AI, it's just a shame not polishing your CV properly. And also like take a moment to remove these like long dashes you copy from ChatGPT. It's so obvious that like you just prompted your CV and let's make it natural, okay? Like you want to be treated not as robot.
Yeah, it's just showing that you brought some effort. This is like the thing. Whenever, I see the application and I just see that it's like ChatGPT written, but it's not even, moderated. They haven't even implemented any changes. I'm like, all right, you don't have any effort even in your CV. So how are you going to act like, a team member? You're going to have zero effort still if you lost your effort at the zero stage. Yeah. So, just be humans, show your effort, show your willingness to work and to invest your time your skill to the company. And that is just going to be it. And of course, be a good guy. In crypto, we love good people. It's all about networking.
It's all about the intentions. Like if you have good intentions and the logic, like the vision of your company, like even though we tend to think that like Altius is more B2B these days, like precisely pre-product period. We are very, very much like laser focused on B2B, but at the end of the day, it's like people to people relationship. So it doesn't matter we work with a company because we work with people behind this company, people behind this community, why we are delivering this. And so you need to like humanize yourself always down to the ground level so that you can understand, okay, like, is this sounds organic? Is this sounds okay?
And am I doing it right?
Marketing is all about just selling something.
This is next thing that I wanted to discuss with you because we have a bunch of crypto marketing experience in this room right now. And basically, what do you think about crypto marketing nowadays? Because actually, like when I touched the crypto marketing thing at the first time, I just remember all the books that I read, everything that I was taught in university while learning finance, but still getting this little bit of marketing flavor into it. And what I realized for myself that crypto marketing is not similar to traditional marketing at any realms. It basically...
Although it should be.
Yeah. But right now, it doesn't work this way. And it still looks like a Wild West when you're trying to find a good marketing specialist. Just because from what I see, you just have to have this feel of the market. You have to be inside of it. You have to be the DJ yourself, the actual crypto nerd yourself to understand what other crypto nerds are actually interested in. Or you can use traditional marketing tools, but your target then will be not the crypto community, but the community outside of crypto and not very engaged in crypto. And your goal is to make them be more and more engaged into what we do out here with our non-fungible tokens and like fake money thing.
Discovered a very big topic. I think that's like a separate podcast for 1 hour. We would need to think on and prepare in advance, but obviously I've seen both sides. I've seen dig-ins and I've seen Web2 guys trying to onboard into Web3. Long term, I think fundamentally someone coming from Web2 taking time to learn the basics by himself, herself, not stepping into Web3 company for 1-2 year and then stepping in, it's the best way to make the difference and contribute. Why? Because so many Web3 marketers, they skip the fundamentals. Like, no. I realize, okay, that these days maybe users are spoiled a lot and they don't even visit like the websites of projects. But
they just read Twitter and buy tokens.
Yeah, I realize that I'm not an idiot, but that doesn't obligate you and like make you feel that you have to skip the fundamentals like SEO, the domain rate, the narrative, all that stuff. There is a lot of noise today in the marketing, and all that noise comes from maybe some like incentives people expect. I generally think that the best marketing would be just around the product, and on top of that you need to provide obviously the good incentive to try the product. And if you envision yourself using this product without incentives, for free, for some other reasons, that's it. Like you just stick to it, and then it's all about the retention and not the acquisition. So marketing should be more focused on the retention. That's what at Binance these days everyone is highly concentrated, because they realize, okay, like we have whatever, like 300, close to maybe 300 million users already, but maybe 30% of them are active. How do we make the rest of them active? What do we propose on top? And if big players like Binance think about it, then everyone else should think about it. It's not just about, oh, I'm a new layer 1, layer 2. I just gonna increase the TVL and interact the liquidity. That's okay. I'm not shaming anyone, because banks used to do these decades. Yeah. And it's okay. They still do this, but just in a slightly different format. But how are you gonna keep doing this and like innovating, bringing something fresh after? Because everyone thinks that TGE is the end. TGE is just the beginning. Yeah, it's just the beginning.
Exactly.
So in my case, it's like pre-product fit. It's also complicated because I have to speak and be more vocal on the issues we have, and then provide the solution. Later on, once we have the solution, we have to figure out and see in advance what's going to be the next issue and how do we prepare ourselves to fix it. That's why you need to be locked in. That's why you need to actually travel. I hate that some companies, let's say they're making like payment solution. Stable coins are very hyped these days. They sit in New York, but they don't know that their end user is in Argentina, in Turkey, in
they haven't even
whatever.
Seen where this user spend this money, right?
They just think of from the different bubble. Sorry to say this, but that's a wrong type of marketing, and there is a lot of that type of in this industry, unfortunately. Have a look, and like you raise from top VCs in the West, but your user base in South Asia, then go to South Asia
and understand how to market it on this local market, right?
And then you will figure out that some expats from, I don't know, Europe are even living there. Why? Then maybe you can fix something in Europe.
And go one by one, like just put this line together and understand how to go about.
I hope that gives a bit clarity how far we are from being perfect. But there are people who are working in this direction. I hope when it comes to like the narratives, that it's going to be more popular to analyze the fundamentals of every product, of every narrative, and then eventually all these like projects, altcoins, whatever, are going to be treated that seriously as the stocks and like public companies.
This is what we are, where we almost at already, like with the recent, ETF approvals and with the narrative that is going straight from White House, we are almost there. And I think in the next 4 years is going to be changed drastically.
Slowly but surely we're getting there, because like the on-chain data and reporting system has more demand now. So people are like interested into stuff like Duna, Defilama, whatever. Like the researchers, reporters are finally treated more seriously than just random QOLs.
Exactly.
And
finally it's happening, more scientific basis. It actually what we all needed. And, next thing that I wanted to ask you, because, we slightly, like we talk about marketing a lot, and what we see right now, that big part of centralized exchange users are going to decentralized
Right.
exchanges. And we've been talking about it with you a couple of times. And basically, like, what are your top 3 decentralized exchanges that are out there right now? And do you think that there will be some point of time as ex-Binance employee and, someone who knows everything about centralized exchanges, like, are we going into the direction of having all the user base on DEXs, or we're still gonna be in this centralized environment and DEXs are gonna remain something what is, for degens, for someone who's not allowed to use DEXs?
Centralized exchanges will not go anywhere because let's be realists. With crypto growing more and more, banks are also not going anywhere. These are the separate entities which will coexist. Same as the new type of entities like decentralized. I can imagine that regulators might be grasping their head today and thinking like, okay, what's going on with this hyperliquid? Like, there is so much noise about this whale longing or shorting an asset. I think this is still more like gamble. I would say this is not. Once the spot volume are going to be higher than futures derivatives volume.
So you're talking about hyper right now, especially?
No, generally, like all the DEXs are more these days for perp traders.
Okay.
Why? That's quite organic because like perp trading is not illegal in most of the markets. So in order to overcome some regulations, they're doing these on chain. And if you look at the basic similar web data of even hyperliquid, then you're gonna see that 20% of the audience comes from US, 14 from UK, 7 from Singapore, France, blah blah blah. So
basically, we're on centralized exchanges. Perp trading is extremely complicated.
In most of the cases, they are struggling. The regulators are not in a favorable position as well, because whatever they do, just like the rules needs to be a bit more proper, but that's not my job, so I'll skip that part. I think I do remember for sure that CZ has been stating internally that and that used to happen when he still was the CEO of Binance 2023, that he envisioned DEXs a bit more gaining traction by 2026 2027. So these days that's happening, and we are definitely on this path. I think that's fine, and the more DEXs we have, the better, because like we need to see and who's gonna be eventually getting traction. If you ask myself what should happen with hyperliquid, let's say that they will lose their like dominance. BitMEX used to be the leader in centralized perps. What happened is like one night they just lost their trust, and it's all about the product, and Binance Futures took this leadership role. So nothing is forever. So I believe that's going to be eventually happening one day. And so don't be surprised if it happens one day. And I would be glad to try ourselves. For example, I can envision like with all the background we have with HFT, with the speed, with the Amber Group, Annabal's Experience, Mind, Binance. This is something very close and natural to us to at least, if not build like the DEX, but help some DEX to be faster and add some value proposition on top of that by executing this transaction faster so that this could like feel instant, real time. I think we would love to contribute. This is a rabbit hole, so we will for sure see someone popping up. I already know like another, let's say, big DEX coming out soon because it's supported by someone. But because it's supported by someone also doesn't mean that product-wise it's better than
it's gonna be better.
I'm a simple guy, so if you ask me, like, I got used to swapping on 1 inch just because it used to be a bit better aggregator standards than Uniswap in 2020, 2021 when the DeFi summer happened. And because of that, like, I know that I'm more or less familiar with that interface, with the features I love, some features they did. I don't have time, luckily, unluckily, to try all these like new products. There are some of them which they will eventually find their cohort of users. I think, and I'm very bullish, that someone who's watching us can also build something meaningful, like another pump fun, but maybe more meaningful. Yeah.
All right, so about Dexes, it is clear. We actually just, look into the future and seeing how it's actually going to work out.
It's clear that nothing is unclear.
Yeah, as always in this market. But let's just talk about market in general, because I really want to translate your vision to our listeners and viewers, of course, about how you see the upcoming future of what are we doing here. So what do you think about first topic? What about BTC? Your expectations for BTC and for general development of crypto adoption through it. Second thing is about the trends of the market. How do you see them in the upcoming year, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, something like that? And your basic feeling of what we're going to have next.
So first of all, I think you are very short-term oriented. Like 5-10 years, I guess it's very obvious we're going to be fine. Then long-term, it's a question. No, but seriously, I think that I underestimated the level of and the power of institutions we have. I did bought a big bag at 16K when BTC was crashing and everyone was screaming, oh, like FTX and crypto is the same. Then I thought I was the smartest guy who sold at 70K and bought a bunch of Ethereum.
Yes, as all of us.
One of us.
Yeah.
Yeah, so don't wait any like alpha info from my side. I think that it's obvious that while we have some geopolitical unpredictable cases all the world and our like financial stability across the globe is not that clear as it used to be before the full-scale war in Ukraine, which is like in the middle of Europe before the COVID. It was very much easy to predict. Now what we observe is that cycles do not exist.
Yeah.
And that's a new reality. Might be on the positive side, that's even better for builders because they are not forced to guess the perfect timing to launch. It's just like, just launch.
Yeah, just launch.
And do the meaningful stuff. And
Exactly.
the market will treat it like an elevate, like, okay, that's a fair valuation. That is undervalued. Let's go. Ideally launch maybe when you are undervalued rather than overvalued. My view is absolutely bullish. I'm like long-term bullish supporter as used to be, but short-term I think that summer is not going to be an exception and will be either stagnating or flattening. I don't have any big expectations, as they say, like your expectations, your problems. So I don't tend to have any positive expectations. And it would be nice if that tariff drama would settle down and everyone, like not just investors, would have the clear trajectory what is going on. But again, I don't have these expectations. My expectations are way much worse. But the only thing I know that we need to survive, because if we survive and we do some meaningful stuff, then we're gonna be okay. So that's all we like focus all about these days.
All right.
I do not make any like big bets these days on whether Ethereum will perform better or Solana. I tend to just like split and do not pretend that I'm the smartest guy. I hear these days many stories that VCs are falling apart and they are not as successful as they used to be. Some of their backs are locked in and they basically have pennies liquid. So maybe that's a good thing for like retail community to know that you guys are not the only ones struggling.
VCs are also struggling, guys.
Yeah, and like just big whales, basically. Like I have a bunch of friends who are the highest level VIP traders on Binance, and they are struggling as well. They used to have plans like, okay, I'm gonna cash out and retire forever. Finally, like this summer, and now it's not happening. And they like, a friend of mine told me like, what really happened in April hit me so hard that and this guy is like older than 55 years old. Like I just had to buy PlayStation and play in order to distract somehow from all the drama, because otherwise I would panic sold or whatever. So just try not to panic sold and hit that balance. Like, it's so simple in our life. Pareto rule, 80 versus 20. So if you feel that we are in a bull market, then go with 80% assets and 20% stables. If you feel opposite, then just do 80% stables, but never go all in, like both sides, because you will regret eventually and do some unpredictable mistakes. That's it. I think everyone had a big hit this first half of the year. I personally felt that, well, this is not fair. Like within just 3 months, so much money vanished from the market. I'm not an exception. I made a round trip what I gained for the past few years. But that's fine. I think that's also remember the coin list stuff.
Yeah.
It gives me a motivation.
It gives you the motivation.
I'm not gonna
gives you the
stop.
push.
Exactly.
Exactly.
You just need to run faster and jump higher, and that's fine. The market is definitely so much saturated that my only piece of advice is maybe go all in and focus on let's say 5 maximum assets, and but don't force yourself and don't be in love with all of them. You gotta better always watch for new technologies coming out, the new trends, and but when it comes to investment trading, I saw a bunch of my friends succeeding when they are highly concentrated in some ecosystems. Let's say definitely someone who would believe in Solana a year ago does not regret today versus Ethereum, for instance. But if someone was big into SUI, big into Hyperliquid, they were fine. But if you would at that time diversify your basket into 10 assets, then you wouldn't make it. Don't be foolish that some assets that used to be here 10 years ago will be that respected in their mind by community.
Besides
as they
XRP
used to be.
though.
Well, huge respect. What they do with all the acquisitions, they are here to stay for sure.
I mean, I'm still questioning who the hell needs XRP, but then the question appeared by itself. The government needs XRP. That's why we all need it as well, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I remember I met someone from XRP team and I was just asking him man, what are you guys doing? Is it why should I use your dinosaur? It's so outdated. It's basically, the grandpa of all the cryptos. Why is it still here? And then, a couple of months passes and we see the announcement. I'm all right.
Sometimes insides are good, sometimes are bad. In my case with XRP, for example, it turned to be bad because I knew that part of their team was too much obsessed on the price and selling an asset in the perfect moment. So I was well, if they are so much concentrated on selling it in the perfect moment, then I better don't play this game. Apparently, Ethereum did the same with the foundation. They always sold the top.
Yeah.
So that's fine. Looks like, and the market treats it okay-ish condition, but you never know. I do maybe give a piece of advice to everyone is not be blindly in love with some asset and watch out really for the sentiment around community. If there are any opportunities how these specific asset company can elevate them up and surprise and provide new utility, new way for demand to and reason and to hold at least it, then I'm gonna be partially part of this journey.
Right.
Let's see, as they call it, skin in the game, and then it's gonna be a bit fun. And obviously, of course, when your basket of assets is growing and appreciating in the value, then you start learning more about it. So you're gonna be curious, what is the reason? I think that's how.
Yeah. Why am I broke now? And you just.
What are your thoughts on the market lately?
My thoughts lately, I've been always very, very conservative with my pockets. It's all about having very basic assets in it. And I'm not mistaken. The only mistake that I still have is Ethereum, but I wouldn't call it a mistake because I still believe that we're going to get 5,000 target for sure. I'm a big time believer. I was the one who was screaming BTC 100 and everyone was, ha, 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 100K for Bitcoin. Are you crazy? Then boom. And I'm like that. It's not a middle finger though.
Remember at the beginning of podcast we were discussing like the mistakes we make and how serious we are about this. Like our generation is so much paranoid about making mistakes. So consider it's like a learning experience you paid for.
Yeah,
with Ethereum.
No, I mean, like, I still think that Ethereum gonna make it because, you know, like, I just don't believe that there won't be the inflow of liquidity. But on this, not cycle, we already said that there are no more cycles. But on this cycle, what I see that memes just took most of the liquidity from the market. And I even remember talking about it from the stage that, you know, meme coin narrative is something that was on the top of a surface all the time, but people were just not ready for that. Because, you know, remember like last cycle, everyone was talking about utility, researching the projects very, very deeply and, you know, trying to understand the matter of them. And then people were just like, okay, but what's the connection between the price of a token and why the price goes up or down, right? It's all about marketing that is around. And previously, the marketing was for very, very degen people who were researching a lot and, you know, always doing their own research. And that's why you had to provide the marketing related to your actual
and now
product.
It's all about attention.
Yeah. And right now it's about attention. Right now it's all about, you know, having the proper ticker, having the proper influencers in, and, you know, having very funny content around it. And that's why meme coins as a narrative just literally switch this market flow, if I can call it so. And now we see that crypto marketing is not as understandable as it was before. So if you are the ecosystem builder right now, you need to have the proper technical side and promote your product from the technical side. You need to have all this haha narrative around it in order to make people really like you and feel like you are there, bro. You need to have a proper team. You need to have proper investors. You need to have everything done properly and still catch people's mind with this sort of brain rot content a little bit just to make them really believe in what you do. So right now it's getting more and more complicated to properly promote your project, and I think it's going to be even more complicated in the future. But what I like that right now the market is not is actually the thing that it was supposed to be, because we all are some sort of degens here, and we really are. Doesn't matter.
We deserved where we are now.
Yeah, exactly. And it doesn't matter, are you the decentralized generation or a real degen? But basically on this market, we should have this balance between this, you know, being serious guy in the suit type thing and this guy who trades meme coin and has fun type thing. So I think this perfect middle is something that actually gives us the understanding of this market. That's why I'm just, you know, kind of chilling and, you know, being on the flow with how I feel it, because I talk to people from the market 24/7, and I already started to understand that thoughts that are appearing in my mind are always based on the things that I heard from way more experienced people than I am. That's why I just believe my inner thought. And basically, I think that in the upcoming year, we're definitely going to have BTC at around 150, 160K. In my personal opinion, not a financial advice, guys. Don't go to court. Second thing is that Ethereum gonna hit 5K, and I'm pretty sure about that. Like I'm 100% sure, and you know, like I will be apologizing publicly if it's not gonna happen, but I'm more than sure that it is gonna happen. Solana ecosystem is tough and only to the moon. I was really bullishing on Ton before, and I'm still kind of am, but you know, what is happening inside of Ton just shows me that when the projects, ecosystem projects, who have tons of money, tons of resources when it comes to human resources, when it comes to media resources, when it comes to financial resources, once again, when they don't know which sort of problem they are solving, then it's kind of complicated to really get this piece of cake and succeed in that. Because they tried DeFi, they tried this, they tried that, just copying narratives from other chains. Yeah. But the only big narrative for Ton blockchain was tap to earn games. And unfortunately, it kind of finished this cycle for them. And I'm really keeping my fingers crossed that deep integration with Telegram and Durov's assessment will bring Ton back to the numbers that we had before. But what I'm seeing right now is it's kind of, you know, sad for me personally.
You know, like we used to analyze like what would be our go-to-market strategy, and obviously we would be very much respected and heard if, let's say, we would have we would create the competition, for instance, between Solana and Telegram, because apparently we sat down with engineers and I had an idea like, how about we make Tone great again and speed it up, execute it as fast as possible, and then eventually what we realized is that the language it is written on is C++, and it's very, very complicated language, not in a favor when it comes to developers. Most of the smartest developers in the industry we see come from HFT. That's where our engineers are from. Let's say Solana, Monad, FTX engineers came from HFT industry as well. And their go-to language is Rust. And that's why chains built on Rust are successful, fast, and so on. So with Telegram, it's a bit complicated topic, just so you know, like we've already analyzed. And that is the privilege I noticed I starting to grasping while speaking to developers and realize like why fundamentally it might be interesting company assets, definitely with high potential and big volume, but simultaneously it has so many non-predictable obstacles, like they may face some bans from government and this will influence the price. They may not catch the new narrative. This will influence the price. And so many
Pavel
aspects
Durov
that
will
like,
have some problems with legal once again, and it will affect the
I
price.
wish no, yeah, but like it's just a hidden gem that you cannot crack it and figure out unless you are internally there. And even speaking with a bunch of friends who are internally there, I was not like bullish enough after speaking to them. So let's say, the industry has way much more players. The only thing I can say publicly is to everyone is that one thing I'm very bullish on is like where we gonna be in 1 year. At Altius, I'm pretty confident that in 1 year, let's make a promise that we'll sit together and like analyze like what happened within that year and where we are. We will be
Everywhere.
Yes.
Okay. All right. I marked
and
your
then
words
you guess what it means.
I marked your words down. Let's have a bet. Yeah, as you said, 1 year after this podcast is recorded, we sit in the same or maybe in other room and talk about
maybe
similar
you guys
topics.
also upgrade. So I wish you success in the business.
Exactly.
And you have a better studio.
I mean, so like, yeah, and for us the same, like we are trying and we're not even trying, we're already doing it and just conquering the market of crypto payments. And I hope that in 1 year, we're going to have at least 500,000 users of our cards and of our service. Right now, we're at the level, I'm not going to mention because I don't want to fake it, but in hundreds of thousands, somewhere there.
Yes.
And basically, like, we're just going to be as hard with our marketing as possible, as low with our commissions as possible, just in order to make everyone use our cards. Because as you said, like even talking about Binance has no Binance card anymore. That's why, use Kolo card, guys. It's very simple.
It's very simple. I used to had like Binance card as an employee as well. Like it's not something like everyone could have. Just because I used to be an employee there, but now it vanished as well. So I need a card, and I'm definitely gonna use it.
And quick video how we're making the Kolo card for Ivan at the end. Yeah. KYC, go through your face. All right. All right. Beautiful. So maybe for the final part of our podcast, you will give like top 3 pieces of advice for someone new or middle in this market. So some pieces of advice from Ivan, Paskar in here for the guys who are trying or doing something.
Where do we start from?
Get away from crypto. Open a farm.
And,
And write
obviously get debt in the bank.
Oh,
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah.
And gamble.
Well, is it okay if I say I don't know? Because I don't know.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Guys,
Let
take your own path.
Yeah. Let's take your own path, or like let's just ask ChatGPT what ChatGPT would say. What is your question? Let's try it.
What are your top 3 pieces of advice for someone new in crypto market?
Let's see. I bet it's gonna be very simple. But ChatGPT has never been in our shoes.
Exactly.
So your
Now, guys, you see how we work in crypto.
Yeah.
This is how all the complicated tasks are
your
solved.
story is your story. Learn before you leap. Stand by understanding what you are investing in. Don't just follow hype. Makes sense. Like, don't just follow hype. And while saying this, I always think of Hyperliquid. I don't know. Protect your capital and identity. Security is everything in crypto. Right. Like, that's what I can confirm. I am very lucky because I've never been scammed. And hopefully I'm not gonna never be. No. Like,
No.
someone used to try to scam me a month ago, but luckily they didn't make it. So now I'm even more like security paranoid. I did survive FTX, Luna. I didn't like hold any assets on these platforms. So I consider this is like the biggest like luck ever. And the third piece of advice is start small, stay sane. Volatility is normal. Don't risk more than you can afford to lose. But no one's going to do this.
Because you're in crypto. That's fair. All right, beautiful. And for the final part of our podcast, we wanted to show you the thing that we already mentioned at the beginning of this podcast, which is...
Which is a bit of stuff everyone is trying to look for. And... we have here a collaboration between Altius and Binance. Obviously, we have some like our swag is being processed now. Like it's in the process of shipping. We just finalized the design. We dropped the first collection. It's gonna be revealed soon. Our team is gonna be traveling a bit around the world, likely at Ethereum CC in Cannes. Obviously, because we start from EVM, then in Korea and Singapore. So we've been already this year in a few conferences in Toronto, New York, and like Dubai, all over the world. You will obviously find me here in Warsaw at Ethereum Warsaw. So we have a first sneak peeks of Altius swag, and we obviously have some Binance limited editions here. So not gonna reveal all the box, but this one goes to, let's say, one winner.
Yeah, to one lucky winner
One lucky
who is
winner.
going to do what? Follow Kolo Hub on X, follow
Altius Labs on X.
All right, and leave a repost for our recent podcast update.
Yeah.
So basically, the announcement of our podcast with Ivan on X should be reposted, and you should follow both of our accounts. And then what? Then you're going to be eligible to take part in our merchant swag giveaway, guys. So basically, I hope you're going to enjoy it. Someone will get this big Binance/Alias box for your own use case. And what? You should be thankful to Ivan for bringing it to us here today.
Yeah.
And maybe, Ivan, some last words before we switch our cameras off and go eat this kebab that is laying right in front of us.
Last word should be very simple. Take care of yourself and take care of your assets. Then you can properly focus on what really matters. Because all this volatile stuff may distract you a lot. And I hope you found this conversation fruitful and positive. And thank you for inviting
Thank
me.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you for being here today.
Bye.
And guys, remember that at Kolo, we show faces, not just talk on the spaces. Have a good day and see you on the Net podcast. Bye-bye.
Bye. Earn money and spend it with Kolo.
I love it.